Hello, James here, and I am charging the car at the Chadamo here. I had the battery down to 3%, the temperature was 13.8, and I'm going to heat this thing up before we hit the road. The reason for that is because we want to see if we can reduce the battery temperature down back to about 22 degrees with a full battery, and if it's a hotter weather or a hotter battery. I'm trying to simulate that. Obviously, being in between the north of England and Scotland, we will not be having any Scotchial weather around that sort of temperate climate. So I'm going to give this a go and we're going to see what happens. We're going to see if we can get the temperature to drop down to 22 degrees before it starts climbing back up once the state of charge reduces down below 30–40%. Well, that's the plan anyway. I'm just going to set this to go off and I'm going to come back and pick up the car. But before I do that, I have my EVA Scotland card and I am going to change the time to... easier doing it this way. What's the time now? 3:40, right. 4:30 I'm coming back, so they can basically contact me on here if they need a charge, and hey, I'll just have to text them back and tell them I'm coming. Right, so I'm back after around about 50 minutes and we are going to check how our lithium cookie is doing in the oven. So I'm going to basically turn the car on and check what temperature the battery is. I've got a funny feeling it's going to be a little bit too hot compared to what I was expecting it to be, because we gained about 18 degrees centigrade last time, and we were at 13.8, so I'm guessing from my calculation it should be 31.8 degrees. So I am going to load up Leaf Spy and connect on. So whilst that's connecting, if we come here and look at the temperature, so we come here and look at the temperature now, it is reading over that notch, which I think the last time we checked was 41 degrees. Uh-oh, that's not good. Eek! I have overly done it. I was right, it is now set at 41 degrees. Okay, so looks like our lithium ion cookie has been overdone. So what I might do is let the car cool down. I'm going to stop the charge now and basically finish off the rest of it in trickle charge, and I'll probably leave a little bit later on. I'm hoping the temperature will drop down considerably. So obviously this test is null and void for now, I think. So I'll have to maybe redo this at some point. But what we might do, seeing that we've cooked the battery up to this temperature, is to see how much it drops if we can sustain 60 miles an hour. So that's the new plan for today. Right, I'll see you guys once I hit the road. Right, so we're on the road now and we are at 90% battery. I actually charged up to 100%, went home, went to the AC and got up to 100%. We waited about, from when I left, 2.5 hours before embarking on our voyage journey with one rapid charge. The reason for that was because I wanted the battery to cool down, and from previously we were saying that the battery would go down roughly about 2 degrees every hour. So when we left it was at 35.8 degrees centigrade. So I wanted to see if that holds true, and it's pretty accurate. I mean, we charged up at home for maybe another 10–15 minutes to get it up to 100%. So that gave us roughly about 2 hours. I think the extra cooldown of it did happen is due to us not actually driving the car. I just went into charge, so obviously none of the other components are hot in any way, which would keep the battery warmer, I suppose. Right, so that was down to 35.8. so currently at 89% we are at 35.4 degrees centigrade. So the temperature's dropped, but I wasn't going that quick because of the roadworks. So it looks like my cooking instruction needs a little bit of work. Obviously, being at such low state of charge, I should have realised that I'd be getting roughly about 20 degrees centigrade added on top of our 13. Obviously it pushed it away above that. We hit 41 degrees centigrade. So I probably should have started cooking the battery from 30% to get me roughly to maybe 30 degrees and then let it cool down a little bit. But we are what we are at 35.4 currently. So we can take this one of two ways. First, this test is we are in a hot country like Morocco and the battery's been cooking all day, baking in the sun, and now it's the evening and we're going for a long drive in the evening at 70 degrees centigrade in Morocco. Is that how they do it in Morocco? I don't know. The second option is we just been for our first rapid charge and it got us all the way up to 35.4 degrees centigrade after charging the car up from 30%. And now we're going on our second leg of the journey. So whichever story you guys like to take from that, I will let you decide, or you can just make one up yourself. Okay, so we are down to 80% at the moment, and the temperature is going up actually. It's 35.6 degrees. We've gone up 0.2 degrees centigrade. Obviously we're going slightly uphill and we do actually have a headwind this time, so that could play a little factor to all this, but that is where we're at the moment. Right, I was being a little bit naughty there. I overtook a lorry on the dual carriageway just because I didn't want to be slowed down. But maybe I should have actually, because by doing that I've raised the temperature up by 1 degrees. We're at 36.8 degrees centigrade at the moment. I am slowing down to 55 to try and cool the battery down a little bit. I'll probably go back up to speed now, so we account for that 1 degrees as null and void now that we're at 65%. Maybe I'll do a different test at this point because I kind of messed that up. But I think it kind of shows that the temperature was pretty much stable, because at 70% before I did the overtaking it was at 35.8 degrees centigrade. Hopefully we will see if we can get the temperature down instead of being steady at that temperature before, because it wasn't really moving up or down before, which is a bit of a surprise for me. Wasn't what I was expecting, but yeah, it looks like 60 miles an hour is a good spot to keep the temperature at 22 degrees or above to be stable, because I think that's the optimum running temperature. Once it gets to 22 degrees, the battery, whatever the temperature is above that, it will stay stable at 60 miles an hour. Right, so we're at 60% and I decided to do 56 miles an hour. Everyone's overtaking the lorry and there's a bit of a tailback behind me, but I'm just going to be one of these Sunday drivers because it is Sunday, and I'm just chilling. Well, I'm actually trying to chill the battery, and the good news is it's at 36.4 degrees, so we're bringing it back down, doing 56 miles an hour. So it's kind of amazing that 4 miles an hour makes such a big difference in the temperature dropping. So for this half of the test, because it was all planned, we are going to slow down to 56 all the way, and even if we hit a lorry we're going to follow its slipstream and basically see if we can take this temperature down. So that was 5% and we've lost 0.4, so we'd say 0.8 for 10%. You guys do the maths. We'll probably get to that once we get there. Right, not being a donkey's ass, I thought I'll pull over by the parking spot here at basically just to let the guys get past, because there's a few people that seemed a bit agitated that I was doing 56 on the speedo, which is probably about 54 or 53 miles an hour. So I'm just going to go up to speed again and basically catch up. Well, I don't really want to catch up with these guys. I want to keep the speed at 56. So we're at the halfway mark. Everyone's gone past me. I am on my own. I am still doing 56 miles an hour. This isn't the sort of speed that I like. I'd rather just be doing 60 and then there's no qualms about things. Hopefully this dude's not going to try and pull out. Thank you very much, sir. And the temperature currently is at 36.2 degrees. It didn't go down as low as we thought. It's because I pulled to one side, let everybody pass, and then pulled back out of that parking bay. And that actually increased the temperature by 0.3. So that didn't really help because I had to use energy to get back up, which made the battery heat up. But the temperature is going down, doing 56 miles an hour. So it's safe to say that if you want to keep the temperature the same, keep it at 60 miles an hour. If you want the vehicle to reduce in temperature, go below 56 or hit 56, because that's kind of the point of, you know, like the sort of speed that you get from the book in the olden days. Yeah, as my kid would say. Speaking of olden days, that's so one of the questions my son asked me. He said, "Dad, you know, what did you do? What did you do for fun in the olden days?" And I was thinking, olden days? I was like, what do you think how old do you think I am? Like, what do you think I use, like sticks and a hoop and twirl this hoop down the road? Like Oliver Twist? Ah, kids, eh? So we are just under 40%, we're at 36 degrees centigrade. We've dropped down in temperature, but we've got this big tractor in front of us with massive wheels, pulling to one side to let me through, but I don't really want to be blasting it here, do I? Maybe I can overtake him, I can't really see. So I will wait a minute until the road has straightened up. Eco off. Not a good point to overtake. Alright, I'm just going to wait a little bit because I can't see over this crest. Yeah. Are you going to signal me? Oh, okay, let's go. Right. Thanks to the gent. Right, just from that little blast, we're back up to 36.1. Oh, we dropped down to 36 again. Right, so danger alerted. We're back on track, and yeah, we'll come back when we hit 30%. Hopefully, we won't have any more dramas. Right, looks like we are off the beaten track. We're 77.5 miles out and they're doing roadworks. So this is gonna mess with my plans once again. Well, I suppose we can see how much the battery cools down at 30 miles an hour. So it's 36.1 degrees. It's gone up slightly from before. I think that's just due to the low state of charge, because we're kind of at that tipping point. So let's see what happens to the battery when we slow down to 30 miles an hour. That last test that I did in the last video was like the most perfect sort of test possible, because I was constantly 60, no traffic ahead, no traffic behind trying to overtake, and everything just went clockwork. This time we are taking a detour around Reston. So while we're here, we might as well talk about this tranquil little village, which seems to have lots of houses and doesn't seem to have much on the main road. I think we're passing a local pub here, maybe, don't know what that is, can't really tell. More houses and cars. Doesn't seem to be a very active nightlife around here. Obviously I don't know these roads, so I'm not going to go that quick on them. They're very narrow, as my car is telling me. I did that, I actually moved over to one side because there was a dead pheasant on the road. It's very picturesque. Actually, that's a lie, I can't even see over the hedges. It's quite a tranquil little village, Reston, with very, very narrow roads. E-pedal on. Oh, oncoming traffic. Whoa. My goodness. So this is a 60 zone. Unless I had a helmet on and a roll cage and some mechanical handbrakes, this isn't really the sort of place that you'd want to do 60 miles an hour, especially on the road that you don't really know. A little bit of dirt rally here, on tarmac that is. Oh my goodness, how many times am I near that line? You cannot be serious! Oh, right, so we are climbing back up for a few miles and we're at 30% now, and it looks like we're going uphill, and the temperature, I need to turn eco off actually, just get a bit of power. The temperature is at 35.4 degrees centigrade, so we've actually dropped quite a bit from where we went off the beaten track. So going 30 to 40 miles an hour seems to help quite a bit on the temperature from sort of like increasing. But obviously if you are on the motorway or highway, going at 30 to 40 miles an hour is practically dangerous and I wouldn't recommend it. So that's a no-go. 50 is, for myself, I think it's kind of on the border of going a bit too slow, because you're actually going slower than the lorries or trucks that are on the road. So having a truck overtake you isn't ideal either. So 56 miles an hour is probably the optimum sort of speed without causing any sort of tailback or danger to other road users. But that is just my opinion. If you guys want to do Sunday driving slower than I am now, that's entirely up to you. As for now, I need to try and stay on the road. I get beat for going on the right, and if I go too far on the left, I will fall down this cliff. Not good, I've got vertigo, you know. We're at 20% and we are actually closing in on Dunbar. It's only about 4 miles down the road. Current temperature from when we went off the beaten track we are currently at 34.9 degrees centigrade. So even with this low state of charge at 56 miles an hour, we are actually reducing down in temperature. So if it's running too hot, you need to cool the car, but you need to keep going. 56 miles per hour is a good speed to go at. Right, we're at Dunbar now, and the temperature is 34.8 degrees, and even with this low state of charge, it's still going down, so that's a good sign, or at least that's something that we know we can work with. Right, let's swing in here. So I'm going to grab a snack and then head to the Rapid. Hopefully it's not used. That bay's been iced. Is he charging up? Oh, you're not using the CHAdeMO, pal. That been smashed by that dude just now. Right, let's get this charge going. So being at McDonald's for that length of time, I am down to 34.1 degrees. So I lost 0.7, and if it's 1 degrees every hour, was I there for about 20 minutes waiting for my food? I have to look back in the videos and find out. We're charging up here, we're at 18%, and obviously the temperature is going to rise. I am going to make an educated guess that in 45 minutes, with the current state of charge that we're at, or the percentage on the battery, we're going to be rising by about 12 degrees centigrade. So I am guessing we will be at 46.6 degrees centigrade. So we're going to come back in 45 minutes. The time is 9:38. I'll put a timer on my stopwatch, and we will come back and see where we are. Right, with all this munching, I forgot to check what the power draw is. We're at 35 kilowatts, and the temperature was 34 degrees. So that's an extra number I can add onto my chart to see how accurate things are. It's not the fastest speed, but it's not bad for a second Rapid, really, is it? Seeing that we were trying to reduce the charge rate down. Oh, one last thing. The temperature gauge is at the 36 degrees mark. Right, so that's our 45 minutes up, and we are currently at 46 degrees. Actually, oh, wow, we're actually at 47.4 degrees. I wasn't that far off on my guess, but I wasn't expecting that I was going to be this accurate. As you can see where the gauge is, we are at basically 47.4 degrees centigrade. I'll do a screenshot of that for you guys. We're at 90% actually, so this is quite good going. If we can, I'm gonna go over and stop the charge now, and we'll hit the road and we'll basically digest what we've got while I'm digesting the food as well, I suppose. Right, I am now leaving the charging bay here and navigate around this big ice vehicle. Hopefully I'll be able to draw out a plan and do a guesstimate of what my speed is going to be from basically going down from Edinburgh to Silverstone for the fully charged live show. So I'm going to go down there, mill a bit round, have a look, have some fun, and have fun on a long weekend to drive down there and test this theory that I've been building up over this course of this month, to try and basically get some accurate numbers. So hopefully I won't have any big surprises when I do this 351.1 mile trip from Edinburgh to Silverstone. So until then, I will speak to you guys next time. I'd like to say thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Did I just sign out there? Oh, we haven't even finished the test, have we? What am I doing? Right, we're at 78% on the battery gauge here, and I've done 117 miles altogether. The battery temperature has dropped down to 45.7 degrees centigrade. Oh my god, I'm losing my mind here. It must be all those must be all those fast food getting to my brains. Right, so yeah, so the temperature's dropped down. It's actually dropping down pretty rapidly. I think once you get to this high temperature, it will start dropping pretty quickly. I mean, I'm doing 56 miles an hour. I just want to keep this 56 mile an hour going seeing that's what we ended up with halfway down the road. I'll do another update again once we reach near the college where that roundabout is. So that's like right inside Edinburgh before we slow down to, actually that's a 50-mile-an-hour zone anyway, and then once we pass that, let's call it a day then. Looks like we ran out of motorway. We are at 72% charge on the dash, and basically we've done 125.5 miles, 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour, and Leaf Spy says we are at 45.1 degrees centigrade. So looks like the temperature drops quite a bit at this high temp with the speed at 56 miles an hour. So actually we might be able to extrapolate the actual slowdown of the temperature towards the bottom end from where we were previously, so that we might be able to do some sort of extrapolation from that. So I'll see what I can gather from that information. If I get anything from it, it will be on the screen here. If not, this bit will be cut from the video because I'd be talking rubbish. To conclude this video, I think we got a better understanding of how to manage the battery temperature on long journeys and what sort of speeds that you should be doing, just for the fact that we don't have an active thermal management in this car doesn't mean that we will be caught short. I think if you keep to what I've said, it's probably the optimum sort of driving technique for now until it gets debunked by someone else. But for now I think that is what I'm going to go with. It's kind of like what I said before, it's very much Star Trek, the original series, this driving this car. You basically have to manage all the different systems, so you have to compensate for one thing to save on another, or in this case your speed to what your temperature is going to be before your engine overheats. Well, actually this doesn't have an engine, does it? But you know what I mean. So I might as well sign out now properly. So if you like the video, please hit the like and subscribe button, and also there's this little tweet thing here about Twitter. If you want to subscribe to that as well and basically say hello, please do so. You'll be very welcomed. And yep, I will see you guys next time.